Dave is prepared, so we'll call our meeting to order. Does anyone have additions or deletions to the agenda? If there are none, I'd entertain a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
So moved. Support.
Motion support, last chance for comments or questions. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion's carried. Roll call, are we completed? Okay, we have roll. Excuse me. Next is the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would please rise and join us with the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Next, we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the September 9, 2025 regular meeting and the September 9, 2025 closed session meeting of this board.
So moved. Support.
Motion support. Are there any comments or questions? Additions, deletions? Hearing none, all those in favor please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed say no. Motion's carried. Thank you. Moving all the way down to G, resolutions. First up, we'll consider a resolution exempting the city of Alma from the requirements of PA 152 of 2011 for the benefit plan year January 1 through December 31, 2026.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Motion support. Do I get some background? This is just a repeat?
Yeah, it's repeat. We do this every year before we receive our notice of what our costs will be for healthcare for the city. So far, this has been a benefit for us. We're able to look at more options for our employees and still controlling our costs. Our employees have been great. I'll just put that out there. Last year, we only seen a 4% increase, and when we talked to our other municipalities, they were seeing close to double digits, 9 and 10%. So our employees have been very conservative in their use of their plans, and which is great. So again, this is exempts us out of either the 80/20 or the hard caps. And the hard caps are just dollars set for single, dependent, and family. And typically those you can't spend more than 80% anyway. So the 80/20 and the 80%, it's pretty much one and the same. So, but if that did ever change, that opting out of it would cost us more, and we would come to the commission with a different recommendation. But right now it's been working for us.
Okay. Who has questions? Hearing none, all those in favor please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you, and congratulations to our employees for being healthy.
It is.
What it comes down to, right?
It is.
Next up, we're going to consider a resolution to approve a request from Nativity of the Lord, also known as St. Mary's, to close Amy Street between Prospect Avenue and Park Avenue, which will host a fall picnic on Saturday, September 27th from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. and to use the closure to set up a tent and food trucks during the event and work with city staff on final logistics.
Move to adopt.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Is some background?
Yeah, sure. This is their second year of providing this opportunity. It is open to the public. They had a great turnout last year, they said, and they would like to repeat it. We'll work with them again on the same kind of logistics that we had last year. So I don't think they need as much room that we gave them last year. So there's probably more parking for folks that are coming to the picnic.
Okay. Who has questions? This one came to my mind. They're talking about setting up a tent. Are they driving stakes into the pavement?
Nope, that was one of the requirements last year.
Okay.
Yep. They cannot use stakes into the asphalt.
Okay.
That's correct.
Because I know that's a problem sometimes.
Yes, we always have to make sure to remind people of that.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion's carried. Thank you. Next up, consideration of a resolution to approve a match amount increase for the Michigan Department of Natural Resources Trust Fund grant relating to the recreational asset improvements in Riverside Park. Your pleasure.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Motion support.
All right.
Background?
Yep, we got some decisions to make tonight. We did receive our scores for the application we put in for the Riverside Overlook Deck and the Pavilion and the site amenities at Riverside Park. We received 265 out of the possible 500 points. This year, they did not provide us a list of how we, or how we came in with everybody else. And I asked if that was, I just not seeing it somewhere, and no, they did not provide that. So we don't know where we sit with the rest of the communities, but we can follow up with some proposed maintenance, extra information, site quality and design information, and then, of course, our match. We're working on the internal stuff right now to see if we can add some things that hopefully will get us some extra points. We're hoping that will get us an extra 50, and then that's outside of this, as we look at the match. We went into it thinking, well, we'll put 25 in, I guess the minimum, and if we scored pretty well, then hey, we'll just go with 25. But with our ALICE score, and for folks who don't know what the ALICE score is, it's asset limited, income generated,
Income constrained.
employed families who earn above the federal poverty level, but still can't afford basic necessities such as housing, food, transportation, making it unable to achieve financial stability. We were in the 30 to 35 scoring range, but to get something at the 25% match level, it had to be at 40. So to get any points.
Close.
Yes, close, but just,
Yes.
yeah. Poor, but not poor enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Poor but not poor enough. Exactly.
So to get us any points. Yep, yeah.
That we're not correct.
To get us any points in that particular portion of it, the match, we would minimally need to bump our percentage to 26%. Now give us 15 points. And that would take our match from the 115,000 to 119,600. Then so on. 30% is the next one where we would get some extra points at 25. That match at 30% would be 138. 40% would give you 35 points. That's 184,000. And then if you match it at 50%, that gives you 40, and that's half $230,000 toward the project. So, but that's, we can do either, any of those matches that the commission would feel comfortable doing. We would take it out of fund balance to make that work. But whatever you feel comfortable with, we can add to the resolution tonight, because I did leave a couple blanks in the resolution that you would pass to increase the match at any one of those amounts, and the dollar amount to go along with that. I don't know, like I said, I don't know where we stand with the other communities, so that's where we're at.
Hey, who has the first question?
And we need to do one of these now, right?
If we would like to,
Pick one.
we don't have to.
No, we don't have to, but then we should.
But if you would like to increase that score to at least, get at least 15 points, we need 26% match. So we'd have to increase our match by 1%, taking that up to 118,600.
That sounds.
Well, I guess I continue to have a problem with rebuilding that overlook that goes out over the river. I think the park is highly used, but I'm not sure the value, I don't see the value in that overlook personally, particularly when the next item down on our agenda is the grant agreement to review what we're doing with the dam and what the long-term outlook for the river is going to be. I struggle to spend tens of thousands of dollars on an overlook when we don't know what's going to happen in the larger constraint or the larger project of that park and the nearby river that it's overlooking. I think the park certainly needs to be upgraded and deserves to be upgraded. It's very, very heavily used, but the overlook of that portion of it seems like it's spending good money after bad.
And can
Those things don't
somebody, I know we
last.
discussed this, but can someone remind me what we would, if we did not do something to make the overlook better, is there something we do that's going to cost money to remove? I mean, is it safe the way it is, and we were just hoping to make it better, or is
For
it
the time being, it is. But it's structurally,
it's on borrowed time.
Structurally, yes.
So do we have any idea of a cost of what we're going to eventually have to do to remove it, or do something with it that would maybe make this seem better to, I mean, I'm always someone who wants to do things before it's a problem, because I feel like you save a little bit of money ahead of time. If you're doing something before it's a big, I don't want a chunk of it in a human falling in because we've not done something. But I mean, I appreciate what you're saying about the money. However, I think my inclination is to just bump it up to, the 1%, in hopes of getting some money towards doing something that I think we're gonna have to eventually do anyway, something that will cost money. I mean, I don't know how much. Do you have any idea?
Well, I agree to that because this is just the start of the study of the dam. So it could be years and years down the road
We'll have to
before
do
that got
something
through.
before.
None of us will see the dam removed.
Right.
None of us will, is my guess.
Oh, you're getting to my existential crisis, which is all that
Grand Rapids, we're talking about 2035 or something they were hoping for there with all their resources, but.
Yeah, so we need to do something of some.
Ours would need federal dollars to,
Do
there's no way we'd be able to
Okay.
do anything of that sort of, that's a very big project, but
Yes.
Dave has a couple years.
No, I'm here to answer questions if you had any that I can help.
I just was asking for you to pull a number out of your.
Yeah. As long
air.
as you have a question, I don't want to come up here and say anything you don't care about. So, Dave Randall, Public Services Director. The question is, the manager's right. Structurally, it's in a state of, I'm going to tell you the next 5 years, it's either do something or get off the pot, to abandon it. What that means is removing it. Caution tape, nobody adheres to that. The cost would be, if we're looking at total removal, and in reality, inflationary numbers on the same number is going to shock you, but it's really going to look at about $100,000 or more to remove it, because you're looking to remove it, you're going to have to put riprap back in there. You are also going to not be able to do it without some kind of a study to find out that you can't encroach into that floodway. So a basic answer without talking to Eagle or anything like that, to put it back in the way it was, if you rip it up, because I know what it looks like underneath, but it's going to need more riprap. Someone's removed to put it in there. So minimum number would be about $100,000 to remove it, put some riprap back in there.
How does it not need riprap to rebuild it?
I'm sorry?
How, does it not need riprap if you're gonna rebuild it?
It could, that's what I said, last time I was under there was about,
Yeah, the engineer gave us their best guess at what the cost to rebuild it, permits, the whole thing, so.
And it's adding the riprap that's needed and
Yeah.
everything else that,
if you remove it structurally, you have to structurally take out the supports. There's probably some decking that comes out. Whether or not that elevation changes, it would probably be very minor riprap, but I would expect there's going to be a cost center in there for riprap. But if you remove it, if you're familiar with how it's built into the dam bank. So if you remove that, there's going to be exposed dirt that has to be replaced, and it's going to be some type of a riprap in there to just establish that bank. and keep
Riprap? I
busted concrete,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
rock, things like that, because
Something
it helps
to
with
fill
erosion
the
control when
space.
water rises and it doesn't wash out near that bank anymore. Helps to reduce that.
So what I'm hearing, which would probably, I still think that I would be game to increase our match, so that, because I think that within the next 5 years, we're going to have to come up with money to do something. So if we can, and this doesn't guarantee that we get it, right? We still are going to have to think of something else.
No, we
if
still have to
don't.
score more than.
Right.
the
So,
cutoff,
if
yeah.
anybody else thinks we should up it more, I'm happy to hear that. But I don't think I want to not do something because it's going to cost us money within the next 5 years to do something. So,
yeah, I really question the 100,000 though, Dave. Seems like a excessive amount of money to take a deck off and
Well,
put some
it
rocks
seems
on.
excessive to pay $17,000 to put a new pipe in for my sewage too, but there it was.
That number's not in thin air, and we can
Yes,
agree to disagree,
right.
but when I look at the boardwalk that was just put in, we talked about on Charles Avenue just a couple weeks ago, that was $160,000 to install that. Now, by the time you get an excavator in there, a few backhoes, just for the mobilization to bring equipment in, you're talking $20,000 to $30,000 just to get equipment in there and start removing. And inflationary numbers, stuff is going up.
Like
But I'm
5
pretty
years down the
confident
road,
with
yeah.
that around 100,000. Maybe it's a little less, and maybe a little more, but
It's always good to estimate high.
I just try to be realistic, so there's no sticker shock with that, because there is going to be some remediation, but that's for the board to discuss. It's just a number that I'm familiar with.
Yep, and it's, as I said, these are your options as the board. This is a resolution has to come from this board to up it or just leave it alone. The project itself is $460,000 for what we've applied for, so that's what.
And that's not just the removal of the deck,
No,
that's
no,
all of the other stuff.
Right.
That's the pavilion, the
We're
new
putting
tables and
$100,000 for a
assessment.
match.
Yes.
Yeah, so if we could get it, it would be a fabulous deal, right?
But those are your options, and you have the option also to not add any additional to it too, so whichever you like.
So Roger, do you want to amend your motion, or you?
I will amend the motion to go to a 26% match, the $119,600.
And I seconded that, I think. Before, I'll second it now.
Any more comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. I would vote no. So there's one against. Motion is carried. Number 4, consideration to approve a grant easement agreement with the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy for the Alma State Street Dam feasibility study with a grant amount of $236,100 and an in-kind match amount of $53,900, and also to authorize the city manager to execute the grant agreement on behalf of the city of Alma. Your pleasure.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Motion support.
This is something that to the board we talked about a couple of years in a row, and we did get notice that we'd received these funds a few months back now. Well, here we are finally with the grant agreement. If the board approves this tonight, the engineer will get working and with our local folks at Tetra Tech and the college, and then our staff here to start that process. And at some point, meetings with the community, because there's part of this grant is community engagement to talk about the dam itself, the impoundment itself, and then hopefully at the end of all this, about 18 months from start to finish is what they're anticipating. We'll have some options for this community to take a look at and see what we'd like to do. They're not going to give us one recommendation. It's going to be here's ABC, here's how much they generally ABC cost. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who has the first question? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. So, moving on down, reports of officers, boards, and committees. Commissioners may receive the following reports by one resolution, or any commissioner may remove any of the item within the section for individual discussion and vote. Before us tonight, we have the Planning Commission September 8, 2025 draft meeting minutes, the Alma Transit August 2025 report, the Finance 2025 report, and the City Manager's report. Your pleasure thereof.
Move to receive 1 through 3.
Support.
Motion support. Comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion's carried. Your pleasure on number 4.
Move to receive the City Manager's report.
Support.
We have motion support. Eric.
Yes, I'm going to start off with some very good news that we received, and we're very happy to share with the board and the community. The Clean Water State Revolving Loan Funds, we applied for that 2 years in a row. This second year, we changed up a couple of items to submit to them. And again, we were expecting the point total that we got, which was 40 points. Inside your packet, we did include the spreadsheet from all the communities that applied for this funding. We kind of anticipated before we even submitted that we were going to receive that 40-point mark. Sure enough, that's where it was, and even with feedback, we couldn't raise that. Here about almost 2 weeks ago, we were reached out to and said, well, are you still interested? Of course we are.
Well, yeah.
So that which pretty much means that those folks that are ahead of us in that list, enough of them had dropped out that it freed up those funds that we were requesting. Don't know why or how, but all the work that this board did, staff did,
Yes, the money.
and the community, stepping up to help pay the fees that we've increased for the water and sewer, has put us in a position to access this funding. So, long story short, what will be provided, and I believe from my understanding, we'll probably see some kind of agreement from Eagle in November at some point. And staff is working with the engineers and Eagle to kind of put the scopes and things together to get that ready. And then of course we'll have the bonding for the financial portion of it at some point as well. The offer was for $18,245,000 in low interest loans. Which, 2% or less, which is, you can't say it's free, but it's almost free money. And then we also, a part of that was $2,255,000 in loan forgiveness, which is a grant. Very good news. As we discussed with the drinking water SRF, this kind of followed the same thing. We were told that we weren't going to get it. Some communities obviously didn't have their financial things in order, and they weren't able to do that, so they dropped out, and we were able to do that. This funding is, I know we had to raise rates, what we did, but it actually kept us from raising them further than what we did. And there's some communities across the state, if you look it up, you'll see that they're having to raise theirs further than we did. And this funding will help control those fee increases by using these loans and the loan forgiveness to get some of these improvements done at the water or wastewater plant that need to happen. So
Wonderful.
thanks to everyone on my staff from the wastewater department, finance, and then thank you to this board for 3 years ago when we started those discussions, and then thanks to the community for, it's not fun to get a bill that's increased. So thanks to them as well, to put us in this position to get these funds and get these back. So more construction coming in the next couple of years. So thanks to everyone.
What exactly will they be doing at this point?
We had, I'll let Dave, I know we have clarifiers, we have a lift station, and a few other things, but most of it's at the plant, yes.
Try to keep it short and sweet, but I'm going to try to hide my excitement and elation. I thought I'd do a lone walk up here.
Yeah, please.
My presentation a few minutes ago with the high cost. Hopefully this offset that with good news. But if anybody, I know we've talked about some goal setting session for the last 5 years, and I remember talking about that at that time. We had the lead and copper stuff, and I remember that conversation was dominated with infrastructure, and we talked about for literally 2 hours everything that's needed at the wastewater plant. And my recollection when I talked about it with our staff is there was a plan, I called it the moonshot, where we asked for everything. What does it look like? And I remember where that came from. Is like, yeah, we have a dream list, and what we could accomplish at that point, we were estimating was $20 to $30 million. This $20 million 5 years ago would have done pretty close to that moonshot that I talked about. Inflationary prices aren't helping us, so we're looking at a few different options as well to offset some of this with some other possibilities based on efficiencies, but trying to keep it short. I can bore you for an hour on the things we've talked about doing. You've heard me in the past say that, but it's a monumental thing for this community. It's very big to get 2 SRFs within a couple of years, the water one and the wastewater one. These are very rare to get, and it's very rare to get the loan forgiveness. It's the last round we're going to get the loan forgiveness for. That money's drying up. So we're looking at doing it at the wastewater plant. Obviously, plant improvements with filtration, clarifiers, if anybody's familiar with that. They're basically held together with caulk and kind of, I call it bubble gum. And if this money didn't come in, we're looking at Hail Marys. We did the same thing with the water fund. What does this look like? What can we do to piecemeal? What can we do to prolong the agonizing problems that will come in the future? So that $20 million, what we're looking at doing is, we talked about the plant, the lab upgrades, things like that. Those are all possibilities that we can look into looping this. We also had money that we budgeted for those. Computer upgrades, filtration, clarifiers. We're looking at what's called tertiary filtration, which will help us with the cleaning and not to worry with all the facts of the wastewater improvement process. One possibility would be to take the clarifier offline. That's what you see with the green layer of algae on there. And it will do nothing but improve our ability to attain development on the east side of town for our industrial partners. This gives us a plethora of options for wastewater treatment. So anybody that comes in that talks about industry, what can you treat? This opens up a pathway for treatment options for the city of Alma. This is major, major good news for us going forward for the treatment process.
Great.
And we will come forward with more plans. We'll have more to talk about. But right now, we have a list of about 7 needs. We have a funding mechanism of about 3 to 4. So what we're going to try to do is as many birds as we can with one stone, and we'll be in touch with some of the things we're talking about doing over there. So.
Great. Thank you.
And I'll come back to this board here to ratify and move forward with. And thanks, I forgot to thank Eagle so much, because they kept us on the list, and that we were there and we were ready if the opportunity came available.
Wonderful.
The Alma Transit building expansion got underway last Monday. They went right to work. We approved the new contract at our previous meeting with a new deadline of December 31st, and that is their intention to get to that deadline of December 31st. And we did include a few photos of the first week of construction. Rosedale Street, so we should start seeing some black this week. Did we see something today?
Probably tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
If not, this afternoon.
So that project is nearing completion. If you have a chance to drive Rosedale, night and day than it was, 8 years ago. So nice to see. Richmond Street, the sewer lines and sewer connections have been made. Dave has told me some stories of some things that have happened there, and we did, kind of put those in there for you to take a look at, and how things happen over the years when people are, cross-connecting into others' laterals, and laterals that go cross-country to other sanitary lines and going
these aren't
across.
just homeowners. I mean, these are like professionals that are doing it, right?
Well, that's way back when we necessarily didn't pay attention.
They didn't have any rules.
Oh,
Yeah.
people would do these kinds of things themselves?
Well, contractors would, yeah. Did have easements to go across private property to, run a lateral line over here.
They still try, by the way.
Yeah.
But hey, we live next door to each other. Can I just hook into yours?
Sure,
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, okay.
We're good.
Yep. So we found a few of those in there, so we thought we'd share that stories with you, and that's we find in these older neighborhoods. And then we'll be starting very soon on the water and water connections for that. And I think that's what I have for you for this evening. Yeah, that project, they're hoping to have it wrapped up here at the end of October on Richmond as well, so. But we're, as staff, super excited about the CWSRF. I don't think I smiled more. Well, kind of the same time when we found out, we were at MML when we found out about the drinking water SRF the first time. So just big deals, and it's, so again, it just thanks to everybody, staff and commission and the community.
It'd be interesting just to do maybe have Curtis throw some numbers together. If we would have done this through private bonding and we've gone out to the market and bonded it, what is the difference in price? How much are we actually saving?
Yeah.
It's got to be huge.
It is.
That's real dollars that our ratepayers are not going to have to pay.
The likelihood of when we were having those discussions about almost a year ago, if we had to just go completely bonding, we'd be hard pressed to maybe just get the clarifiers done as well. One clarifier done. So anyway, but we'll do that.
Yeah, that's good. I remember those discussions, but I don't remember the details in them, and it would be good to have that
Just
back
go back
out.
and look at it and say, okay, we're going to save $4
You're gonna do a
million
couple
Yeah.
backflips and cartwheels for us off camera?
Oh yeah, we'll bring that to the next newsletter for folks. Yeah.
Anybody else have questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of receiving the city manager's report, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. Appropriations. Any interest in paying the bills tonight?
Yes, please, move to pay the appropriation.
Support.
Okay, motion supported. Any questions about the bills? Nobody. Okay. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Okay, commissioner comments. Sonia, would you like to lead off tonight?
None for me.
None from you. Okay, that was quick. Michelle.
Thank you to the staff for all their work on all the grants that they've been working on. I heard Brews and Bites was a big hit downtown Alma. And Alma College had a good not homecoming, but a big first home game, I think it was. There was a lot of people in town on Saturday. And congratulations to Chief Bailey. Our exciting news for today.
Drew?
I just hope people get out and support the new show down at the Players. Now hear this. I think it's this weekend and next weekend.
Very good. Danny?
Nothing else, thank you.
Okay.
Just thanks to everybody I'm a big, huge fan of grants and low interest rates, so thank you to everybody. That's fabulous news, and I appreciate paying attention and knowing that we have these things available to apply for and doing the heavy lifting to get that, so thank you.
Thank you. Roger?
I have some other good news for Dave Ringel. They are out there marking for the new gas lines, and they are running putting paint all over my street, showing where sewers are, and I happened to be out back, and we had a discussion about my sewer with the guy, and the problems we ran into a couple of years ago, and had kind of a chuckle over that, but he asked me if, the city took care of you well for that, and I said, yes, they did, and I don't think any of it was because of who I am. I think they just did that. And his comment was, well, the city of Alma is always good to work with, so that's nice to hear. Yeah, that's nice to hear. The other thing, reinforcing the show at the play, I went and watched it last night from the light booth. You need to see it. Be ready to be dazzled. It is like nothing else Gratiot County players have ever done. I will tell you that. It's different. It's a great play. There's 5 people in it, and they are terrific on stage with blending together. It's about 4 young people who are going through a museum and the different ways they're looking at the museum and life, and it's really quite interesting. The music is great. The blending of their voices is good, the camaraderie is good, and the tech is fantastic. We've spent a whole bunch of money putting new LEDs and all kinds of stuff in there. I was not aware in the past month they also put a projector in. I knew there were a couple of projections. There were probably 200 projections in there, and light cues all over the place. It is mega neat. Go see it.
Okay, is that it?
Yep, that is.
Okay. Sarah? Anything else from you? No? Okay. I echo condolences and congratulations to the new fire chief. That's great news. We got some big shoes to fill there, so that's good. That was good news. And to staff, the diligence to keep on those grant dollars. Very exciting, very big news for us and our ratepayers. That's going to be great. Just can't say enough about that. And then to go along with that, as these other communities have dropped off and didn't accept those dollars, it's good fiscal management in this organization that enabled us to be ready for it and take advantage of that. If it wasn't for good fiscal management, we wouldn't have been able to take advantage of this either. So kudos to the whole staff, everybody on the team that watches the dollars and takes good care of the money and puts us in that position. So thank you for that. With that, we'll open it up to the public if there's any members of...
Who is the new chief? I didn't hear her.
Jim Bailey.
Jim Bailey.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
He should have had an email today.
Oh, okay.
I haven't got to it yet, so, but yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And he'll be fine. He'll be a fine chief, I'm sure.
Wonderful, good.
Many decades probably of experience, right?
He does too, yes.
Yeah. So, again, any members of the public like to address the commission, please go to the podium, state your name and address, and you have up to 5 minutes to share your thoughts with the commission. Mr. Lester.
Les Roseanne, Les Roseanne, live at 889 Mill Street here now. I was going to address a couple issues tonight with Roxanne. I'm going to follow up on your statement that preventive maintenance is always cheaper than deferred maintenance. About 10 years ago, I'm sure some of you remember, I went on a park crusade. And it wasn't just here, it was any park that I could find in the community. I toured through it, I went through it. We absolutely had the worst looking parks in the whole area that I covered. There have been some improvements, but a lot of our problems were lack of preventive maintenance. Those boardwalks were put in quite a while ago, and they're put in and forgotten. And there's one that you can look over and they were put in with nails. They weren't put in with screws, and the nails are pulling out. You have other ones along the road there. There's a fishing area, and then there's one of those, there's the trees growing, and the tree is grown up so far that it's pushing and taking the structure of the dock and tearing it apart. So I would be looking forward to anything that is done in the future, that there be money budgeted for preventive maintenance, volunteer maintenance, the things that could be done, and get those items to last longer than they do now. And I'm not sure how that could be done, but it is going to cost you more because that maintenance wasn't done on it. The other thing, as you know, I bicycle around town. I'm probably around in and around the city as much as some of the police cars are. I see things because of how slow I go, and I just wonder why it is that when property is abandoned in this city, that it sits and it deteriorates further and further. I understand there's a cost, but it is a detraction from, especially you want to attract people into the city. I have two series of pictures I took. One was this Pizza Hut building on the corner of Warwick and Wright Avenue. And it hasn't improved. It's just, nothing's done. I mean, it's ugly. It is ugly, and people coming into town for Alma College events, the stuff that you're drawing people into downtown, and they go right past that. And I just wonder why that's not being addressed, taken a look at. I did download a series of pictures. I'm going to hand them over here. They're done with an old printer on regular paper, scrap paper from here, actually. And but I went back as far as the Google Earth. I think this one was done before they closed the Pizza Hut, what it used to look like. And then obviously the rest of them are what it looks like now. And the other one is the Alma Products building on Court Street, kitty corner from the library. They own a lot of property there. They own that. Everything that looks like it's abandoned or overgrown, as I understand it, Alma Products owns that. That big sugar beet building, which they did put a fence around. But another thing, I mean, and that one, it looks like the only thing you can do with abandoned buildings, from what I read, the big thing is it safe or unsafe? This particular one is all fenced in, so that's probably not an issue as much as it is just the overgrown trees and weeds and that same thing. It's just a distraction, and it's ugly, and I think judging by their facility out on Michigan Avenue, they don't look like they're broke. So I don't know why something can't be done, a little effort on the city's part to address some of these property owners that just walk away from it and then we don't worry about it. And I pay. Alma, with the water and utilities and the taxes, we pay a lot of money considering the size of the community. We pay pretty high taxes. And you see a corporation like, I don't know who owns the Pizza Hut thing. That was up in the air probably last year. But anyway, I think there could be things done just to get a general cleanup and a better appearance for the community. Because I think some of these that sit like this are, they're obviously a nuisance. But that one on Linwood, which you're going to tear down, I went back on Google Earth in 2008. And that thing was already overgrown. You couldn't see the house back that far. So that's out there and fell apart. So you want these, Craig?
Sure. Thank you, Les. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Les.
Anybody else like to address the commission?
I don't have anything, but I would like to know, what is it this weekend and next weekend that the play is still on?
Yes, opens Friday.
Opens Friday?
Opens this Friday, this weekend and next weekend.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
I'll help you find your seat.
Oh, you are?
I'm not sure.
Okay, it looks like nobody else coming forward to speak to the commission, so with that, we'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Or
We have motion support. Any last chance for comments or questions? I hear none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming tonight.
Remember,